Every single person on this planet has fear. You have fear. It's part of being human. But here's the truth most people never understand. Fear isn't your enemy. It's not the thing that's stopping you. It's the signal. It's the guide. It's the raw fuel you've been wasting, running away from instead of using. You might feel fear when you think about speaking up, starting something new, chasing a dream, walking away from something toxic, or standing alone. And you know what? That fear means you're on the edge of something that could change everything. But instead of stepping forward, you stop, you freeze, you hesitate. And every time you do, fear gets stronger, you get smaller. But here's what you haven't been told. You don't need to wait until the fear goes away. You need to move while it's there. Because fear isn't a wall. It's energy. It's pressure. It's potential. When you ignore it, it turns into doubt. When you feed it, it turns into panic. But when you face it, when you grab it and step through it, it becomes power. Think about it. The times you grew the most in life, were you comfortable or were you scared? You were scared. You had no clue how it would turn out. But you still did it. And because you did, you stretched. You changed. You became more. Fear doesn't show up to destroy you. It shows up to introduce you to the stronger version of yourself. You're not weak for being afraid. You're human. What makes you powerful is what you do with that fear. You can run from it or rise through it. And the truth is, every person you admire, every success story you look up to, they all felt the same fear. The difference is they didn't stop. They used it. They turned the what if I fail into what if I grow. They turned the shaking hands into strong decisions. They showed up scared and still gave everything. They fell and stood back up, not because they were fearless, but because they made a choice to stop letting fear hold the pen and start writing their story with courage. Fear is loud, but your purpose is louder, and your future is waiting on the other side of everything you're scared of. Every step you take through fear makes you braver. Every action, even the small ones, tells fear it doesn't own you anymore. And that's when something powerful starts to happen. You stop seeing fear as the enemy, and you start using it as a signal, a compass, a reminder that you're alive, and that what you're going after really matters. You don't get confidence first, and then take action. You take action, even when you're scared. And that's how confidence is built. You don't wait to be ready. You move while you're uncertain. And that's what separates those who break through from those who break down right now. You've got something inside you that's bigger than fear. You just forgot. You've been listening to doubt. Too long. You've been trying to be perfect, trying to be safe, trying to avoid pain. But growth isn't safe. Greatness isn't comfortable. And the dream that keeps pulling at your heart, it's going to cost you fear. You have to spin it to move forward. Stop trying to get rid of fear. Start using it. Let it push you, not paralyze you. Let it remind you that you're alive, that you care, that this moment matters. Every fear you've got right now can become fuel. But you've got to choose. You've got to stop running. You've got to face it, breathe through it, and do it anyway. That's how your future gets built. Not in the absence of fear, but in the presence of courage. And courage means doing it afraid. Courage means showing up while your hands shake. Courage means falling and still believing. It's not about pretending you're not scared. It's about being scared and still doing it anyway. You owe that to yourself. You owe it to the version of you that's still dreaming. You owe it to the life that's waiting for you, the people who need your voice, the changes you're meant to make. You owe it to your story to not let fear be the final chapter. And here's something real. The fear might not fully go away, but that's okay. You'll just get stronger. You'll learn to walk with it, run with it, use it. You'll look back one day and realize that the very things that once made you shake are now the reasons you shine. That fear you're feeling, it isn't a stop sign. It's actually a compass. It points directly to what matters most to you. You're afraid because something in you knows it's worth it. You're scared because your heart wants it badly. That's the truth. Fear only shows up when you're facing something real, something that means something to you. And when you start seeing fear as a signal, not a danger, but a direction, you start unlocking your power. People often ask how to get rid of fear, but maybe that's not what you're supposed to do. Maybe the goal isn't to destroy fear, it's to understand it, face it, and walk with it. Maybe fear is your ally, not your enemy. It keeps you alert. It keeps you sharp. And it reminds you that you're alive. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to stop letting fear sit in the driver's seat. What if every time fear spoke up, you leaned it instead of backing away? What if instead of saying I can't, You whispered, maybe I can. What if you gave yourself permission to try? That's where growth begins. That's where change starts. You don't need a perfect plan. You just need to take the first step, even if it's a small one, even if it's messy, even if your hands are shaking. You move forward anyway. There's this moment right before you do something scary when your heart races, your palms sweat, and your head fills with doubt. But right on the other side of that moment, that's where your future is. That's where the life you want begins. It's right there. And every time you push through that wall, you prove something to yourself. You prove you're stronger than you thought. You prove that fear doesn't get the final say. You might fail. Yes, that's possible. But failure isn't the worst thing. Staying stuck is. Waking up one day and realizing you let fear win, that's what really hurts. So what if you fall? So what if you mess up? That's life. That's how you learn. That's how you build the muscle to try again. Failure isn't the end, it's just part of the process. And each time you get back up, you get a little braver. You've probably heard people say, be brave. But bravery doesn't always feel loud or bold. Sometimes bravery is quiet. Sometimes it's just getting out of bed when everything in you wants to hide. Sometimes it's showing up for yourself when no one else does. Sometimes it's choosing not to quit even though it's hard. That's courage too. And every time you choose to face your fear, you're building that inner fire. You're becoming the version of you who can't be stopped. Think about everything you've already overcome. Think about all the moments you didn't think you'd survive, but you did. You're still here. You're still breathing. You've got more strength in you than you know. And if you could survive that, you can handle what's next. You're already proof that you can face hard things. So don't forget that when fear shows up next time. You don't need anyone's permission to be great. You don't need the world to believe in you before you start. You need one thing, your own belief. That's the real fuel. When you start believing in yourself just a little, you ignite something powerful. And that fire spreads. Bit by bit, it burns through the fear. Bit by bit, it turns doubt into drive. And once that spark is lit, it can't be stopped. The thing about fear is that it only wins when you stop trying. It only wins when you shrink. So refuse to shrink. Refuse to play small. Refuse to accept that this is all there is. You were made for more. You were born with purpose. And every time you silence fear and take a step forward, you're moving toward that purpose. Let's be honest, there will always be fear. That's the deal. Fear never really goes away. But neither does your power. Neither does your potential. You get to choose which one leads. So choose the path that stretches you. Choose the path that lights you up, even if it scares you, especially if it scares you. Because fear and dreams live in the same place in the unknown. That's why they show up together. But if you only focus on the fear, you'll miss the dream. If you only listen to the doubt, you'll never hear your own voice. And your voice matters. Your story matters. Your dreams matter. Stop waiting for perfect timing. Stop waiting to feel ready. You don't need to be ready, you just need to be willing. Every success story you've ever heard, it started with fear. Every person who made it to the top, they were scared to, but they didn't. Let fear stop them. They used it. They turned it into fuel. And now it's your turn. Now you get to decide how your story goes. You get to write the next chapter. And if fear shows up, let it ride in the back seat. But you drive. You've got what it takes. It's in you, even if you don't see it yet, even if it feels far away. You just have to take one brave step, then another, and another. That's how it begins. That's how you build a life you're proud of. Not all at once, but one choice at a time. One moment of courage at a time. Don't let fear steal your future. Don't let it silence your voice. Don't let it keep you from becoming who you're meant to be. You're not here to live small. You're not here to play safe. You're here to rise. You're here to grow. You're here to leave a mark. So the next time fear shows up, smile at it. Thank it for the warning, and then walk forward anyway. Because you were built for more. You were built for greatness. And the only thing standing between you and everything you want is the choice to move through the fear. You've waited long enough. You've doubted long enough. This is your moment now. This is your time. So take the leap, bet on yourself, and whatever you do, don't stop. Because on the other side of that fear is your freedom. Now go take it. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, your future is bigger than your fear. You just have to believe it. Subscribe for more powerful motivation, and let's grow together. You got this.